Welcome, welcome everybody. We are here on another beautiful morning in Arizona. On our new homestead here, we've definitely been getting ourselves situated, acclimated, and adjusted. It's definitely been a little hectic, but now things are kind of slowing down a little bit, at least as far as getting things unpacked and all settled in and whatnot. So we actually have been moving things around, getting plants situated, and kind of taking our time a little bit now as we enjoy some of these days. So we've got the pipe hooked up to the RV gray water outlet, and that is going to our makeshift wicking bed with our plants and such that we got from friends when we got here, stuff that we had kind of told them to save for us and plant for us and whatnot, and so that's enabling us to get a great head start for our gardening. But we've got all of solar set up for our electricity, so we're pretty set on solar. I might add some more panels, but we'll see about that. But for now, we got 400 amp hours of 12 volt battery power, and you can see the goats are getting acclimated. We've got the chickens, everyone's getting set up. So this actually kind of goes, with the pond sitting here now in front of us. This goes into, the topic that I really want to talk about more so, and that's these permaculture principles that we're going to be applying on our homestead. And hopefully we can give examples of how we're doing things here, how we're drawing in more life and more insects and different beneficial life to the property in the different kinds of structures and works that we do here. So but we're following the permaculture principles, and the three kind of big concepts that we're looking at are water, access, and structure. So this first key, I was here earlier in the year, and this is what my friends and I were able to get done with the driveway. We cut in a lot of these earthworks, and these are more focused towards the bottom of the driveway over by the neighbors. So it's essentially hopefully to help him from flooding out as much as it's helping us hold more water on the property too. And I think that's going to be the cool thing, to be able to show all these earthworks and what we're doing with all of the rock that we have to pick on this property. Being able to make these different earthworks that are serving multiple functions and also looking aesthetically pleasing at the same time. So the main goal here is we have a monsoon season, so massive amounts of rain coming down. We did these earthworks, and there's some sediment you can see in that Zuni bowl. So I'll make a separate video kind of describing some of these concepts that we're doing, like the swales, the Zuni bowls, if nobody's really heard about those before. So we were lucky enough with our friend, he got to be here for one of the big storms and show us how much water was flowing in our earthworks, and definitely gave us good little ideas of how things could be tweaked and adjusted accordingly, especially if we're going to be running into more heavier storms, more rainwater like that. We definitely want to be more prepared so we don't have blowouts or things getting messed up. And so that's pretty much what's been going on. Those last couple weeks, honestly, has been picking up rocks after rocks after rocks. There's so many rocks on the property. Excuse me, but that's to our benefit. Yeah, it's a little bit of work, but this is to our benefit, because in turn, picking out these rocks, we actually get to use all these rocks for the different parts of the property that they'll definitely be beneficial to, like how I'm doing the driveway and cutting a lot of these swales. So a lot of these rocks will be piled in these water veins to help flatten out the road, so there's not just the water veins and big ruts kind of running through them. And so that's a little bit what I've been doing the last couple weeks up here, is doing more swales along our driveway going up to our property and filling in a lot of these water veins with the rocks. which they definitely will be filled in more with some more gravel and stuff. So everything, we're just starting out. Nothing is finalized. We're just kind of, you know, getting the rough sketch in, you know, so to speak. But, you know, that's how we're working things right now. We're working from the bottom up, and, you know, we've already done some earthworks, but now we're working on our pathway up to where the house will potentially be. So you can see I'm pointing to the pathway of where the driveway is currently making its way up the hill here, and this is where we've been getting all of the rocks, all the rocks that are in those veins, and a lot of those earthworks on the pond and such. They were all rocks from over here on our property. So it was essentially the cutoff point for those video clips. So I definitely need to get more video clips. I lost my tripod clips, so I'm in the process of getting another tripod or clip so I can set my phone and do more time lapses of what we're doing and how we're doing things here. But like I said, we're following a lot of permaculture principles. We're following a lot of these different concepts and these earthworks and stuff like that. And, you know, like behind me, I've got the goats, but I'm actually sitting in the path of where the driveway will be. So that was a lot of the clips I was showing, you know, with all of the rocks that we've got here. You know, we are going to find plenty of use for them. We're going to find plenty of things to do with them, essentially, which is pretty cool, you know. And that's, you know, just a part of, I think, for ourselves on our own properties. You know, these are simple ways that we can, you know, not only cut costs, but, you know, have natural material that people pay big money for. But if we learn and practice, you know, and how to organize things and plan things out, you know, we can make pretty cool structures that are aesthetically pleasing, but also have multiple functions on top of it, just like the Zuni bowls and the swales. And that's part of, you know, right now things are in beginning development. So everything's going to look very, you know, very torn up, very just almost, you think you've done more damage than what you're claiming to do. But I assure you that I have previous videos of, you know, the property in Montana, you know, the couple swales and some of the earthworks that I've done back there. You know, they really showed themselves, you know, what the progress that they made over time, and especially with the rotating as well. So implementing all of these different kinds of concepts that I think I'll just have, you know, separate videos. We'll see how, you know, does everyone like this kind of concept video? You know, we're just focusing on one thing at a time, little steps at a time. There's so much that is going on that we are wanting to do and get to. But following the permaculture, we're looking at water, we're looking at access, and then we're looking at structure. So those are the three kind of principles when you're looking at permaculture. And, you know, I think that's kind of the thing too. It's like this permaculture stuff, these earthworks, all this stuff isn't just simply, you know, it is, you know, for creating a better environment, for, you know, creating, you know, a more natural landscape, you know, with more things growing and such. But, you know, these are concepts and principles that can be used for anybody's property, whether they want to grow trees or plants in them or not. You know, and the Zuni bowls, all these things serve very great functions for flood control. And that's what we're kind of looking at too as well when we're looking at monsoon season down here and looking at how much rain we could potentially get. You know, the weather is changing. You never know, you know, down here. You can't trust the weather so much. So we'll see how things are, but we definitely want to try and plan for the worst. And so, you know, planning a lot of these earthworks is definitely looking at how much water we will be getting, and potentially, you know, in the future, how much more or how much less too at the same time. But I think the key thing is following these principles for ourselves and showing, you know, for other people that, you know, a lot of these can work in our favor and for our benefit, but also, you know, create something that's way more hands-off for ourselves, that becomes more hands-off, you know, as we develop it. First we have to build it, and then it becomes more hands-off. There's slight tweaking along the way, but then, you know, these are things that are going to help more water penetrate onto the property, more things growing, more life functioning. Just like I was showing with the pond even before, you know, we've already brought in bees, we've brought in lots more bats, we've brought in, you know, a lot more dragonflies, we've brought in more wildlife just simply putting in a little pond. So just imagining, you know, the future here with setting up more water catchment, setting up more, you know, favorable environments for, you know, the nature to come in and do its work and essentially do work for us. And, you know, it becomes drawing in lots more beneficials. And I'll have to make a separate video on that altogether. So anyone that stayed this long in the video, appreciate your support. If there is anything that I missed, you know, about any of these beginnings, any questions or comments, leave them down in the comment section. I definitely can address those in the comment section or in a future video. So, but for now, goats are getting antsy, so I might have to move those goats. But yeah, we're just moving rock. That's essentially what is going on up here for the most part, moving lots and lots of rock. And then figuring out, you know, the designs and different concepts that we need for the water control and for, you know, essentially guiding it where we would like it to go as opposed to the water doing what it wants. So it's all a lot of planning, but we're starting from the bottom up. And as you can see, we're working our way with the driveway, moving lots of rock. And that's just, you know, working our way up all the way to the house location, which we're going to be getting started sooner than I think a lot of, you know, other people, other channels maybe. And that's not to, you know, be negative or criticize or anything like that, but we're going to be, you know, structure is important. And so the, you know, big those goats are getting antsy, but the, you know, a big focus, you know, for us and priorities, you know, in my thinking is that, you know, getting a house set up, you know, and planning ahead. That's a big thing because all of this stuff has been planned ahead. I've been planning for months, you know, before almost the property was even bought essentially. So there's been a lot of planning into this, and that's I definitely emphasize people to plan their projects, plan the things that they're going to do, plan, you know, before you buy a property kind of deal. You know, just kind of imagine yourself, imagine what you're going to be doing, you know, maybe problems or, you know, things that you could run into. So I mean, there's a lot of things that we've run into that were out of plan, but we've adjusted. There hasn't been too much major, you know, off track of the plan. So, but, you know, stay tuned with us as we're working our way. It shouldn't be too long until we start getting building on the house. And so I'll be super excited to show everyone kind of the house design and what we have in store for how we're doing the kind of house we're doing down here. Won't tell you exactly what it is yet. Some people might think, but I don't think anyone really knows yet. So stay tuned for that. We're just getting started here on the property. So if you're new to the channel, definitely like, subscribe, and stay tuned because we've got all these different projects, permaculture projects, earthworks, all kinds of stuff that maybe people don't fully understand, you know, how they work. Or maybe seeing things in action as well, you know, having a little bit of the proof for themselves to know if that's what they should be doing. So appreciate the support, everyone. Like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.